when I first came out here, it wasn't the first time. It was when I last came out here and moved out here. I was getting um, this perception of my own alter ego, and I called him Snickle Fritz Jones. It was myself with a top hat. I had a cane and a pocket watch. Why? I don't know. And I think it was my own alter ego, and it did become that. I had a cane, a walking stick, and I put this badass magnet on it that I got. Like I had this kid give me this magnet that was so fucking strong. It was years ago, and it was like they weren't having the neodymium magnets yet, but this kid's parents worked at some. They had like an etching place, some sort of electronic etcher, and it had this array in it of these magnets, and he put it on my table, and all the metal shit came to it. It was badass. He didn't want it. I traded and got it. When I was first fucking around with it, it was giving me this horrible headache for the first couple of days because your body really doesn't want to be around a magnetic field that's way too strong like that. Like, now, since then, what I've learned is that, like in the Egyptian, the the staff that the pharaoh has, it's like magnetism. You use it to guide, pull in your sheep. Like a shepherd staff. But the electric energy was the scourge. And it was cool because back in those days, if the pharaoh had did something fucked up, he would go before the people and he would be like, he would explain what he had done and he would discipline himself before all the people. And I'm like, that's an interesting idea and concept, because rather than let people hate on you, try to discipline yourself. You're the leader, so they think you're not taking any credit. You actually bypass that if you do it in truth. He's like, I fucked up. I disciplined myself, and all the people see it, so nobody's mistaken about that shit. And if you could practice that in your life and people could see it, it would take away a lot of the hating and shit that people's personality and just their lower nature gets into doing. You piss me off, I want to fuck you up. Stuff like that. I always thought it was an interesting concept. I always loved the Egyptian stuff. I loved it. When I was in the Hermetic Order, I was in the Golden Dawn for a little while. And when I was in the Golden Dawn, I lived in Houston. But one time we had at this time they had a temple in California, and a bunch of people flew down here from California, and we rented a little van, and we came to Austin and got like one of those conference rooms at one of the hotels. One of the things they do is God forms. It's like you do your initial meditation, and then like you imagine the name that you have. So like we did Auroras, and it has a certain amount of names. Auro. I spell it wrong because I named my son Auroras. Auroeris. Auroeris. It is like 8 letters. So you vibrate that name 8 times. When you do it, you're imagining your aura is vibrating at your heart center, Tifereth, that Sephiroth, and when you get done, it's like you do the sign of silence, and it seals you in. Well, when we did that, we had 50 extra people that we've never had. So, like, we've done this before, um, in a small group, but with like that many more people, when I did that sign of silence, my vision went like how the hawk has the eyes on the side, and I could see in 360. It was so badass. I was like, wow, what the fuck? And I did. I named my firstborn son Auroras. But you wouldn't think that that would be possible. You think, oh, I'm going to mold my aura and I'm going to wear this. See, they use the different god forms when they run, when they do the different temple rituals. They have different, um, like different Egyptian gods are for different stations. Like you have a Hierophant, you have a Hyrus, which is like in the west. You have a Hegemon. You have the Carix that leads you around. You know, so you're circumambulating in the temple and going around it, and you're building up the light. You're building up the light and the energy, and then at the end, you're sending it back. But you get a real palpable effect, especially when you have more people doing it. That was one of the things I wanted to do. I wanted to see what it would be like to be in a group and do stuff like that. I happened to find the flyer in a book at the store in Houston. They have a place called Magic Cauldron, and that's where you get your magic books and stuff like that. And I wanted to see what it would be like if I got in a group and worked with different people, and it was a good experience. I tried it another time, um, where the order kind of fell apart, and the people that I was in the group with went into Scientology, and they, like the guy that was over me, some other people went some other place, but years later they started another one. So I tried to get in it again, and I think I did. I think I did pay and get in it again, but they wanted me to start from the very beginning, and I didn't want to do it. I ended up doing other stuff, but I loved it. I was always very interested in it, and it's interesting what you can do just having more than just yourself and using those god forms. Of course, you could make something up. You could imagine something. You could use the same techniques for so many other different things. But I really did like the way they had their things set up. I thought it was fascinating. I've always been interested in it. I like the history of the Golden Dawn, and it just is what it is. The other day I was listening to Linda Moulton Howe, and she was talking about the different archeloids. One of the beings, I forget what the main one's name is, but there's this archeloid alien that's like not really an alien. It's like kind of like an android, made by an actual other alien, and it has that headdress that looks like the Anunnaki, the rope thing, and some sort of device that they hold in their hand. And they have this big nose. They look real crazy looking. But I think those are the Archons. I think that's what people are seeing as Archons. Archaloid, Archon. But they're definitely some of those pretend gods that people used to interface with. And I'm pretty sure they want you to worship them so that they can build up their power or do something. Something not right. But it's always fascinated me. And I've always wondered what those beings were in the different pantheons. What was Zeus? What was Ra? Were they beings? Were they something else? Will we ever really know? I don't think they're made up, no doubt. Especially from coming from listening to the Law of One. I love the Law of One. When I found that answered so many questions. It made so much sense. Nothing's ever made more sense than that. Not even the Bible. Explaining the densities and different stuff like that. I have got some mythological apps where I can go through and read the different mythologies and look at the different gods and just go through and make a video looking at them, because I'm very interested in the different beings, especially ones that we're not that aware of. Everybody knows Zeus, but not everybody knows a lot of these other beings that are in the pantheons of both of them, Greek and Egyptian. That's all. I just wanted to share. Again, happy 4th of July. I hope you have a nice day.